Hey, how's it going, everybody? Ben Axelrod coming to you live just about an hour and 20 minutes to go before kickoff between the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Browns come into this game at 2-1. They have a winning record for the first time since the 2014 season. The Cowboys come in at 1-2, but are in first place of the NFC East. And this is a game that is one of the most highly anticipated games of the Browns season. You look at the way the schedule sets up. They had obviously the opener against Baltimore, and then they had a couple of easier teams on the schedule in the Bengals and in the Washington football team. The Browns come out of that 2-1, like I said. Now they play Dallas, they play Indianapolis next week, and then they hit the road again to play Pittsburgh. So this is one of the tougher stretches of the Browns season coming up, and it starts with a Dallas team that at 1-2 has a losing record. It's still early in the season, but I think is one of the more talented, at least offensive teams in the NFL. You look at their quarterback Dak Prescott, uh, arguably the best wide receiving core in the NFL with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, C.D. Lamb. We saw Cedric Wilson get involved. Noah Brown in their offense last week. Ezekiel Elliott, who you all know very well from his time at Ohio State, their star running back. Just and one of the better offensive lines in football, though they're kind of banged up. And I saw just a few minutes ago, Lyle Collins, one of their offensive tackles, will not be able to play, so it could be a big day for Myles Garrett. But I think what's interesting, what really stands out to me about this game is the Browns beat Cincinnati and beat Washington, really playing the way that they wanted to play. They ran the ball, they controlled the clock. Um, Baker Mayfield only threw 23 times in each game and was able to be efficient. The Browns really kind of let Baker Mayfield pick his spots. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that against Dallas just because this Dallas team is so explosive on offense. I think every time they touch the ball, they're a threat to score. And you look at the way the Browns defense has played going back to that opener against Baltimore, and then even the way they allowed Cincinnati to score 30 points, and then they did a little better job against Washington. Although I think you could argue a lot of that was Dwayne Haskins making some mistakes for the Washington football team. This Browns defense has not shown an ability to really stop opponents. So I think you have to imagine that Dallas is going to score, get into the 30s. I'd probably imagine in this game. The counterpoint though is Dallas's defense is not very good, and we saw last week Seattle kind of pick them apart. We've seen Atlanta pick them apart earlier in the season, as well as the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, there's a reason that this team is 1-2. But having said that, the Browns are going to have to take advantage of this defense, and especially this Cowboys passing defense. And we haven't really seen the Browns passing offense um, put together a very consistent game yet. Like I said, they've really been relying on the run and letting Baker Mayfield pick his spots, and he's done a good job of that. His interceptions are down. He's made plays when he's had to. He's you saw last week the touchdown he threw to Harrison Bryant, big 3rd and 12 conversion to Odell Beckham Jr., who we'll get to in a second here. But I think this is a game that, as opposed to the previous 2 weeks where Baker Mayfield was able to pick his spots, I think the Browns are really going to need Baker Mayfield to make some plays, and I think he can do that. But we haven't seen him do it this season, and obviously last season he wasn't able to do that on a consistent basis. So to me, this is a big game for Baker Mayfield. This is kind of the Browns got some wins under their belt. They're building some confidence, but now this is a time to go out and hang with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and one of the best groups of offensive talent and skill players in the Dallas Cowboys. So, like I said, that Cowboys defense, one, it's not very good. Two, I think it's pretty banged up. So there's going to be some opportunities there. I'd say especially with Odell Beckham Jr. I think if the Browns win today, it has to be a big game for Odell Beckham Jr. I think they really have to get him involved. Jarvis Landry still not 100% coming off that offseason hip surgery, still playing, still gutting it out, but is going to play today. He's missed the Browns' last 2 games. Um, uh, Denzel Ward dealing with an injury last week, and we saw him even come out of that Washington game. He's going to be playing today. Kareem Hunt, who is dealing with a groin injury throughout the week, he's going to play, which is obviously a big boost for the Browns offense. And then um, like I said, Olivier Vernon is playing, and yeah, so it's a good it's a good injury report for the Browns. It's essentially what they were expecting. Oh, Odell Beckham Jr. That was the other one. He was dealing with a little bit of a back injury, I believe, but was able to practice throughout the week and come out and he's going to play today too. So that wasn't really a concern, but good to see him active nonetheless. If you guys have any questions before kickoff here, let me know. I'll be with you here for the next 4 or 5 minutes. But like I said, I think this game comes down to the Browns when they have the ball. Can they keep pace with Dallas's offense? Maybe because Dallas's offensive line is a little banged up, maybe Myles Garrett's able to get in there and wreak some havoc in the Cowboys' backfield. But I think largely the Cowboys have shown that they're going to score, and you're going to have to outscore them, and that's what happened in week one with the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams were able to outscore the Cowboys, and that's what we saw last week with the Seattle Seahawks. They outscored the Cowboys. I mean, we saw what Tyler Lockett did and DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson. So I don't think the Browns have to do that necessarily, and I don't think it's realistic to think the Browns will do that. But I do think we're going to have to see the Browns just make some more plays through the air than we've become accustomed to seeing them make this season. They've really relied on the ground game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and I still think they're going to get. I'm not saying the Browns should come out firing and go five wide and totally go away from the run. I think you stick with the run as long as you can. I think you play keep away and keep the ball out of the Cowboys' offense's hands. But I do think the reality is just with the way Dallas is able to score the ball, the Browns are going to have to keep pace. And if they aren't scoring, and last week, we saw them take advantage of short fields. I think all of their scoring drives last week came in short field situations because they were able to force 5 turnovers and get to Dwayne Haskins and get the ball away from him. I don't think you can count on doing that every week. I don't think Dak Prescott is going to make the same mistakes. I think the Browns are going to have to put together some drives in this game, and they're going to have to capitalize on those drives. They're going to have to be scoring drives, and preferably they're going to have to be touchdowns as opposed to field goals. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. Is I think the Browns will start with the run, but if the Cowboys get ahead, then the Browns are going to have to just keep pace. And to me, we'll get to my prediction here in about a minute, but to me, that's not something I've seen this Browns team do. That's not something I've seen Baker Mayfield do, at least not this season, and really not since the 2018 season. So to me, this is kind of a prove it to me game for Baker Mayfield and the Browns. They're a 4.5 point underdog going into Dallas. I think it's a 56 point total over under, the second highest on the day or on the weekend behind the Atlanta Falcons and Green Bay Packers, who are going to play on Monday night. But I do think that so they're counting on some scoring being in this game, and I think Dallas is going to do its part to hold up that point total. It's just a matter of if Browns can do the same. So that's what I'm interested to see, and we'll just get to my prediction here. I've got about a minute left. Um, I don't think the Browns win this game. I'm just going to come out and say I think the Browns haven't shown the ability to hang with an offense like the Dallas Cowboys. And me, like I said, this is a prove it to me game. And if the Browns come out and if their offense can hang with this Dallas Cowboys team, then I think we have to really, reevaluate what we think the ceiling for this Browns team can be, because they've shown they can beat bad teams. They beat the Bengals, they beat Washington, two of the worst teams in the NFL, playing the way that they want to play. Now they're going to have to come out and most likely play a different style just to keep up with this Cowboys team. So that's what I'm interested in seeing. That's what I'm interested in looking at. I don't think the Browns win. I think the Cowboys win. I'm going to take Dallas. I'll take the Cowboys 30. I'll take them 34-24. But it's going to be really interesting to see. So looks like I'm cutting out here anyway. So that's going to do it for me. We appreciate you watching. Stay tuned on WKYC.com throughout the day. That will have you updated on all the latest from the Cleveland Browns Week 4 matchup with the Dallas Cowboys. Thanks for watching, guys.